Let me take these out and I'll be right back. This is a little too... So this is the final result. Okay, I don't even know what I was going for, to be quite honest. Obviously, if you're a natural girl like myself and you're growing your hair out, I'm in that short hair phase where my pieces ain't hidden just yet, but we almost there. We almost there. Hey fam, it's your girl IJF. If you're new to my channel, welcome. And if you're returning back, welcome back. Before I get started, please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And also follow me on my other social media platforms because it does help. So let's get started with this topic. Oh, fuck me. I just washed this shit. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, okay, I haven't washed my whites yet. I'm cool, I'm cool. So let's talk about hypermasculinity in the Black community. Now, of course, I am talking about hypermasculinity in general, but of course, I think we all should know this by now. When I talk, I'm talking about communities that I'm associated with, I'm a part of, and that I just feel like I know. So please excuse me if I don't include everybody, but I'm you know, we see each other, the people that I'm supposed to see. And before I get started, with most of my videos that I do put definitions in, I am going to sources that I trust, that I used in college, and that I also feel like it is digestible and it's short and concise. So, you know, sometimes I don't want to hear the academic version of stuff. Academia can be very boring, and I'm trying not to be that. When it's dry like that, not cutting in. What also prompted me to do this video is my female version of this video. Also, because I created the whole hypersexuality video for women, I wanted to do the same with men. Even though with men, hypersexuality is kind of thread into hypermasculinity. I gotta give me a moment to get there, all right? So sit back, relax, and judge away, okay? Hypermasculinity, sociological term denoting exaggerated forms of masculinity, virility, and physicality. Scholars have suggested that there are three distinct characteristics associated with the hypermasculine personality. 1, the view as violence as manly. 2, the perception of danger as exciting and sensational. And 3, callous behavior towards women and a regard towards emotional display as feminine. Now for me, I 100% agree with this because again, I have seen what hypermasculinity is, and I also have seen men who are so secure in their humanity, their manhood, themselves as an individual, that they don't do what a hypermasculine man does. And this is why I have issues with hypermasculinity, because I feel like it has been something that was created not by people who look like me, to be quite honest. People who colonized. They brought their nasty way of thinking from their own homeland in their own continent, and now they have perpetuated it and spread it around the world, in my opinion. I personally don't feel like this is a behavior. Not saying that masculinity and feminine energy don't exist in other cultures. We know that. The way that it is presented and displayed in the Western Hemisphere, it is not natural and it is not normal. And if it was, we would have less killings because men can't get their nut. One of my biggest issues with hypermasculinity in regards to Black men is it kills them. So what do you mean by that? Studies and statistics prove that Black boys are usually criminalized at a very young age, you know? And I also want to show you guys this clip.
We don't really, we being, I guess, Black men really don't get socialized on how to communicate with words or with actions, right? Like when you're feeling a certain way. In reality, there are certain spaces where being emotional is seen as being weak. Being weak is a chance where you can be exploited. Being exploited means you can get killed or taken advantage of or robbed, right? So in a very real way, the spaces that folks navigate, emotion is seen as a hindrance, like it's a weak trait.
Now, besides this clip, there are countless amount of documentaries, journals, books, and just experiences that tailors to what that young man just said. And unfortunately, it's not an anomaly. It's not a one-off. It happens a lot in America, you know? And I know this because I've seen it firsthand. I was an elementary school teacher, and when I was teaching my kids, I remember how people would treat Black boys, because I did work in a school district that was mostly white. So I had the pleasure of taking care of all kids, Black, Asian, white. But I remember when the Black boys would do stuff, they would always react in a certain manner, and it made me so uncomfortable, and I wanted to just rip their heads off, because it just made me feel like, as a teacher, as someone who As someone who is with these kids on a daily basis, I think all kids are bad. I think they're all little human beings who don't care about anyone else but themselves. And if they feel like thinking about you, they will. But if they don't, it is what it is. And I think they should have that space to do that because they're children. But I do precisely remember when the black boys did stuff, they would always amplify it. And I'm just like, they're doing the same WWE moves the white boy and the Hispanic boy is doing. I don't see, I don't get it. But as a black man who was in that space, knowing what I knew, they didn't like that, of course, you know? And of course, when they see little black boys act a certain way, they want to put them on pills right away. Terrible. So to circle that all back, my point is, unfortunately, because black men are seen as hypermasculine, black children, black boys in general don't have the chance to, they don't have the full human capacity to experience their childhood. You know, when someone is always calling you bad or difficult or terrible, or you're supposed to be suspended over the most smallest things, it makes you, A, it traumatizes you, and B, it kind of does make you exclude yourself in a manner, whether it be emotionally or physically. And then sometimes you have an outward way of expressing yourself. You know what I mean? Again, this is from someone who grew up in the hoods, in the inner city, seeing how some men act when it comes to the most trivial things in the world, like someone stepping on their shoe. So yes, hypermasculinity does have detrimental effects on black boys. And my second point is, this has been going on for centuries. And we have to remember, the first film ever made in America, A Birth of a Nation, was a film that perpetuated racist propaganda about how black men, because of the Emancipation Proclamation that freed black people, this film was trying to set social norms that black men were sexually devious, they were dangerous, and they were wild boars. Let me show you a few clips from this disgusting film. Since the beginning of American times, aka the America that was colonized and imperialized, okay, they have always had this agenda of hypermasculizing, aka hypersexualizing black men. This is why anytime people have certain conversations with black men, they always want to ask them, oh my god, you guys have are you guys mandingo? Unfortunately, hypermasculinity is something that was created and perpetuated onto a wrong group of people that, again, causes fatalities. Moving on into my third and final point. Again, this is just a theory of mine. It's like, I feel like hypermasculinity holds a lot of heterosexual men hostage. It causes them not to accept their humanity, aka their individuality, aka their manhood, aka themselves, to a point results in them being against LGBTQ plus I. Oh Lord, I messed that one up. But y'all just gonna have to forgive me, my sisters and brothers, or non-binaries. You know who you are. You know who he is. Now I bring this up because Lil Nas X dropped his video, Call Me By Your Name, which I personally think it was a bit creepy, but he's not the first person to sexualize the devil. The first time I saw the devil being sexualized was in South Park, okay? So 2 white men sexualized the devil before a gay black boy did. Just saying, if y'all want to be mad at someone else. My point is, he dropped this video and a lot of people were upset at him, saying that he's gonna go to hell, just calling him all types of nasty names and just being against him. And from what I saw, it was, of course, little white people and a lot of black men, presumably heterosexual black men. Now again, there is statistics saying that a lot of heterosexual men feel like when they harm people who are part of the LGBT community, they think they are taking on stripes, imaginary stripes, to fuel or to add on to their masculinity. This is something that you can find in other communities. Now again, I am only bringing light to the people that I know and the communities that I am a part of. But yes, you can find these type of statistics outside of black men, where there are heterosexual men who claim that they are very secure in who they are, but they are out and hunting for LGBT people. You know, there are countries where LGBT people are seen as, not even seen as human, they're hunted for. Now of course, when it comes to the LGBT community, there are also a few racist, classist, just egregious human beings in that community too. Think you're gonna get away because you put the LGBT in front of your name. You tried it. So in conclusion, I do feel like hypermasculinity is very dangerous to any community, but in particular in the Black community, in regards to Black men, it is very, very dangerous because it takes the lives of our men, whether that's through being killed or being thrown into jail. It causes us to be divided and to be violent with one another. And to me, when I always say BLM or I care about Black lives or Black communities or Black people in general, I'm talking about all Black people. Everyone, disabled, gay, non-binary, trans, even Republican, Lord. Everybody is included. Now, of course, I would love to live in a world where everyone could exist and there wasn't any prejudice against any human being, regardless of race and color and all that stuff. That's a day that I probably would never ever see in my life, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with setting that foundation for the kids in the future, though. So with that being said, I hope that this video was educational, and if anyone wants to add on in the comments below, please let me know. But yes, I'm here for all Black lives, including Black men who get on my nerve too sometimes. Anyway, fam, as always, please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and also share your thoughts with me in the comments below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you not care? You know. Anyway, fam, I hope all is well on this Sunday, and I can't wait to see you guys in my next video. Bye. Mwah.